everybody. James Yeager.
Hey, it's Billy Birdzell.
And in this episode, we're going to talk about the guns we encountered in Africa, and a little something for everybody, hunters and tactical guys and everything else.
Historians.
Historians. And so the first thing I'll tell you is, it's hard to get guns here, and so the ones they have, they tend to take care of, and they tend to have for a long time because it's very difficult to replace them. And so the first guns that we came across were at Oryx, Kalahari Oryx, and they were the R5,
which is a South African manufactured Galil in the carbine version, so wire, folding stock, short barrel. And
the guns were like what I like to call American police guns. They were heavily used on the outside, but not very used on the inside. They haven't been shot a lot. But
they were also refurbished military guns. Mm-hmm. So they had been the R5, now they call it the LM5, which is like M4 to AR-15, and so they removed the selector switch so that they're semi-auto only. But if any of you have been in the military, you know that the outside of those guns, you know, the bluing comes off and they get beat up pretty good, because those guns were probably 40 years old.
Yeah.
So this is the R5. This is what we're trending these guys on, and if you look at it, it's very AK-like. It's a Galil, and it's what these guys use. One of the two most common gun rifles in South Africa, the L1A1 or the FAL, and this one. And pretty neat folding stock. Appears to be a forged receiver. It is. It's got a hooded front sight, which is nice. And a A2 style flash hider, actually A1 style flash hider with cuts all the way around it. But this one is in 223 or 5.56, and it's got the charging handle that comes up, because they mostly flip the gun this way and run the handle. As you know, what I do is this. But this has got some kind of a basic 3-point sling on it. It's a pretty neat rifle. When you keep these things clean, the magazine's clean, good ammo, they run great. They're you know, very much like an AK.
And show them the conversion between the R5 and the LM5.
I don't even know.
So R4 R5 is M16 M4. The LM4 is the single shot only, the semi-auto only, which we call like AR-15, CAR-15. So here on the fire selection lever there, you can see it says single shot, because these are rebuilt. This is like having a rebuilt M4, and it has the semi and full auto positions, but it only does semi-auto. And if you turn the gun around, they also have this semi and rapid fire selection lever here, and although the lever works, it doesn't make it go full auto.
Okay. And I assume this is like an AK all the way down semi, when it was a machine gun, and then the middle notch is full. Very cool. Let's go see.
Initial impressions on how it handles?
Recoil's light. It's a heavy gun, so the recoil's light. Trigger is very AK-like.
Is it AK-74 feeling?
Yeah, in general.
Yeah, so zero confirmation. It is not, the gun is not drifting to the left.
No. And somebody, in the past, somebody might have actually zeroed it because it's to the right now. Somebody might have actually tried to compensate for that in the past, and that's why it's shooting a little to the right.
So the student whose rifle that we're working on is an incredibly seasoned hunter, big five, backed up paying clients who had elephants and Cape Buffalo and lions charging and literally saved the guy's life. But one of the pieces of, specifically self-defense training is you can be awesome with certain kinds of firearms. Does not mean that you're going to be awesome with other kind of firearms in other kinds of situations, in the same way that if you're really good at, I don't know, playing the violin, it doesn't necessarily mean you know how to play the cello. And there's a lot of, how often do we hear, oh, well, I do this and I do that. That doesn't mean that you can present from the holster and make your hits. That doesn't mean, you know, in the dark, you know how to use white light and run a carbine or a semi-auto rifle in a self-defense scenario. And I think this is just a great case in point, how people who go on and on about their niche, well, unless you are doing that niche, you're untrained, or you're at least unpracticed. So you gotta train like you're gonna fight in the scenario that you're gonna do it in.
They certainly needed new magazines. I believe the guns were pretty serviceable, but they certainly needed good new magazines. And so you know, just shooting with these guns and having the guys use them and stuff like that was interesting for me. I'd never seen an R5 or anything like, you know, I've seen Galils, but like just being there for me, this first time in Africa, first time training these guys, it was really interesting. And the crew at Oryx, we had a lot to deal with there, but let's.
We were in 3 languages, you know, doing our firearms class, and
so then the next time we encountered some of those rifles was at the McTavish place.
Yeah, and then they had an R1.
They had a L1A1 FAL R1, whatever you want to call it, and it looked like it was from the Boer War. It looked like it was from back in the day.
And no doubt that it was. Dougal McTavish had owned that for a very long time, and had a scope mounted on it.
It's an old school rifle used for self-defense, modified with a top cover on here with a Picatinny rail. He's running a Vortex scope, which is nice to see. It's a 3x9 and has a bipod on here, and it's a long bipod because of this tall grass.
Looks like a Harris bipod.
Yeah, I would think so. And I love the wood stock. Love the leather sling. This is like a suede sling, which I bet you is real quiet in the brush. We're not going to shoot this today, but this is done a lot in a lot of places in this part of the world.
And then the last gun we saw was the 30-06 that I used to shoot that Blesbuck. Mm-hmm. And for the life of me, I can't remember who made it. It was one of those.
It's on the video. They'll see it.
Yeah, well, I can't remember who made it, but it was an old 30-06 done on a Mauser action, and the gun shot straight.
Yeah, really cool. And then we went out to Pilanesberg.
Yep.
And Hendrix showed us his L1A1.
The job is a rhino protection unit here in South Africa. We're working very hard to protect the rhinos, and it's not an easy task. We need a lot of support. We need a lot of people to come and see how tough it is. And we also need or request some funds for equipment.
Well, we're working really hard to support you. We just got them some awesome sleeping bags. We got them the Recon 3 from Elite Survival Systems. I used that when I was in MARSOC. And how does the new sleeping bag compare to your old sleeping bag?
That's very super, very marvelous. That one is gonna make our lives easier, especially in winter time.
And how tell people about how many nights you go on an OP.
We usually go 3 to 4 nights out on OP.
That's an observation post. They're up on the mountains. They're in the bush.
And it happened if the crash is there or the story out there, and then we have to go extra more than a week.
And how many nights have you been cold on the OP?
A lot. Let me just say maximum 2 weeks.
Well, you're not gonna be cold anymore.
That's better.
And
I'm happy.
And we got you the ventilated operator kit from Tactical Response.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So now you have good trauma gear. But tell us about this. Tell us about your issued rifle here.
Issued rifle, I can just say it's my survival because I don't have any other options. I use this R1. That is my best friend. That for now I'm sitting with it now.
And the R1 is a South African made FN FAL. And in what year is this? What year was this made?
It's a long time ago.
Is this
long time
in the 60s?
Yes, 60s.
You think 65?
No, even before 65, during the Second World War, because they were used by the olden army people, South African army.
So these are old guns.
Perfectly.
Yeah,
Can
old
make you
guns.
sure, old guns.
We got a flashlight on here, but you know, one of the beauties of an AR is you know, modularity, and so you know, you can think, look, if this thing's shouldered, and this stock is actually pretty long.
Too much.
It's not like having it right at my thumb, so you'd have to index, turn the flashlight on, get back in, come out, turn it off again.
That's time.
Yeah, it's very.
You
hear him?
Yeah.
It's very inefficient. Yeah. So we're working on doing
actually practice makes it perfect.
Yeah, but slow is slow. So maybe we're working on an APR 15, anti-poaching rifle 15, all customized for this particular environment and anti-poaching activities out here in Africa. It's
so
gonna
can react effectively.
So you can be awesome and
That's
kick
great.
these guys' ass.
Yeah, they seem to be behind us, but they're chasing us now. They just close in the competition with us.
And who did you paint this?
Yes, I did this for.
Looks like many times.
I like your camouflage painted. This is actually an old school kind of scope mount. They don't run a scope on it anymore, but someone who was issued this rifle previously had something on here.
And it's amazing to me how many people in America will pay for a battle-worn finish.
This is actually a battle-worn finish.
People in America will take a new gun and pay someone to make it look like this, like it's been used.
We will appreciate that. We will appreciate that. That can be possible.
Now, and show everybody your sidearm. What are we doing here?
It's a CZ.
So you have a CZ.
Yes.
And this
CZ.
is not a new gun.
75.
Yeah, CZ 75, and this was not made yesterday.
Yes. Also an old police force fire.
So here it is. You wanna zoom in on here, and you guys can see it's a CZ 75. That's upside down. I know. Here you go. So there's your CZ 75. There's the other side, and these are so old that if you flick this hard, the slides go forward. Yeah. So let's see if we can do it. Ready? I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I just did it before. Let's see if you can do it.
Today it's amazing.
Today it's
I don't want to go.
He's healed it.
Usually it goes.
Yeah, but nevertheless, these things are ancient, and you know, when you know your last line of defense, your first line of defense, what have you, you gotta have a good firearm, and you know, just the confidence to close with these guys who are very dangerous, and they're armed with like 458 and 375 H&H. You know, that's a cannon, and so it's we're working really hard to get these guys modern gear, great training, and so they'll have that capability and the confidence to be much more aggressive against these poachers.
That will be appreciated. If that can be successful, that will be appreciated.
Well, we're working really hard.
Because now we're facing this now is just turned out to be a war with these poachers. Because now they're coming in a group, and they also got the support of advanced weapons, like the AK-47. The other one is having maybe bolt action for killing the animal. The other one is having an AK-47. The other one is having a type of a 9mm in his possession.
And they'll shoot you.
They don't care. They shoot you to kill you. They don't have mercy. So we need to be more advanced than them. We need also, as we say, retaliate with fire with fire.
And one of the reasons I love Mr. Hendricks is in his office, he has a sign which says, well, your sign says,
we kill by profession. That's how we need to deal with the professional people. They thought they are professional, like poachers.
That's right.
Rhino poachers.
Amen to that. So Hendricks, thank you for doing this hard work. You're under-equipped, under-resourced, but you have an oversupply of spirit.
Thank you. As I said to you, I have to survive with what I have, and that is my survival for the future, and also to see to it that the rhinos are being protected.
And so we
also appreciate your support very well.
Well, we're really impressed by what you're doing with what you have.
You've done a lot for us,
and we're all trying to help you get more equipment so you can do even more.
That's great.
All right.
That's what we're waiting for.
Amen. Well, everybody, we're going to tell you how you can get involved, how you can get behind the anti-poaching unit out here so that they can save the last of these unbelievable animals.
You know, one of the things that Billy and I saw here was the need to modernize the firearms that are being used to hunt these poachers. If the poachers are are using better equipment, and it is believed that the poachers, at least some of them, have access to night vision and thermal and stuff like that. And so, you guys know I'm a gearhead, and Billy certainly understands that stuff. And so we just saw all these things that we're like, wow, we wish we could help them get a new this or a new that, and just amazing what they're making work. I mean, things that a lot of Americans have and would turn their nose up to. These guys are out here and happy to have them.
Yep.
It's amazing. So some stuff that we'd walk right by at a gun show and wouldn't, unless we stopped to look at how fucked up it was.
And a lot of silencers.
Yeah.
Silencers here, like most of the rest of the world, are over-the-counter items. So if you can own a firearm, having a muffler is no big deal. So when we hunted at Oryx, we were running a Remington 700 stainless in 243 with a silencer on it, and we don't even know who made the silencer, right?
I took a picture. It was made in Sweden, but I took a picture of it. I'll put it on the video when we do this.
And in those Scandinavian countries, very high firearms ownership, and everybody uses silencers up there.
And it seemed to be very well constructed. It seemed like a nice can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Volvo of silencers.
Very nice.
Do you want to tell them about some of the big guns?
So, so I got taken into a vault at a place, and we're shown these museum pieces, Smithsonian pieces, these double rifles that were built in England at and before the turn of the century. And
if you don't know what a double rifle is, it looks like a side-by-side double-barrel shotgun, but it's actually two rifle barrels, iron sights, and then they have two triggers, because when you need to stop dangerous game, not shoot dangerous game, but when it's charging at you and you need to stop it dead in its tracks, they want to have a redundant system. So one barrel on one trigger, the other barrel on the second trigger, and they find that to be the most accurate, most reliable means of stopping dangerous game that's about to eat somebody.
And if you're thinking, no, I'd rather have this or that or the other, I've been here now and stood on this ground, and I can't imagine a double rifle not being the answer. I mean, you're not getting 3 shots.
No. and these guys who run these double rifles as the backup, they start squeezing the trigger when the thing is at 10 meters.
So like if you're a hunter here and you're hunting a thing and it's charging you, he's gonna let you try to shoot it until about 30 feet.
Until it's like 1/1002 and you're dead.
Because they don't want the hunter to go, I was going to shoot it, so they let it roll up at his feet.
But talking about coolness under pressure, mindset, being focused, these guys are really tremendous, and all the ones that we talked to had saved people's lives.
Yeah. So when I'm looking at these rifles, like you guys know I'm not a hunter, but looking at these, just the fit, the finish, the perfection of these rifles, and to know I'm holding this 100-year-old rifle that they use regularly to hunt. Like, it still gets used all the time.
And it saved many people's lives.
It's fantastic.
Each one of those big bore rifles.
And for me, like, I've known for years that XS sights, big dots, were based on African big game hunting rifle sights. And so for me to pick this rifle up and look down it and basically see a shallow V and a dot at the end was very familiar, very welcoming to me. Staring at them for 20 years now.
And the backup guns are only iron sights. The scopes are way too slow.
Yeah. Well, you don't need a scope shooting at 10 meters.
Nope. Actually, you don't want a scope shooting at 10 meters. You want XS big dots.
So we go out to the range with these big guns in 458.
375 H&H.
375 H&H.
416 Rigby.
416 Rigby and 500 Jeffries.
And these were bolt guns, and these were bolt guns. So some guys run the double rifles, and the double rifles have to have a rim cartridge. So that's when you hear 470 Nitro Express, 500 Nitro Express, 505 Gibbs. Those are double rifle calibers. Then the 375 H&H can go either way, but 416 Rigby and the 500 Jeffrey are running a Mauser action.
And so these are, the ammunition is hard to get and it's expensive. And so they were nice enough to let Billy and I shoot 1 round out of each gun each.
I'm out here at Kalahari Oryx in South Africa with Johan, who runs the facility out here. He's a professional hunter and has some incredible guns for us.
I've got a 375 H&H here, which is the first of the big guns that you're gonna, it's a minimum for big game hunting as well.
And what animals are begin big game hunting?
It's your big 5 animals that you're gonna shoot: your rhino, your lion, buffalo, leopard. Those kind of animals you're going to shoot with this. Some of the bigger plains game as well, your eland and that is always a good plan to shoot with a 375.
Got it.
There, to give you an idea, there's a round for a 375. So after that I'm going to go a little bit bigger, 416 Rigby. There's your 416 Rigby. Obviously this has got a lot more stopping power.
Whoa.
It's a little bit bigger.
Look at that. Look at the size of the case. Okay.
And then lastly, we're gonna do a 500 Jeffrey. That is for when you're hunting your elephant or something wants to bite you. So you're gonna use something like this that's got a lot of stopping power as well.
Look at the size of that thing. I don't know if I want to squeeze the trigger on this. This looks very scary to me. And so you mentioned something to me yesterday, which I'd love for you to share with everyone, is the difference between a caliber that's capable of killing an animal and a caliber that's capable of stopping that animal.
Yeah, obviously the grain of the bullet, the powder and all that, your 375 is a much lighter caliber. So you can kill any of those animals with a 375, but if you are charged by something, you want something with a lot of stopping power. So then you're gonna go to your bigger guns. Your 500 Jeffrey is very good when you do that.
And as a PH, you only shoot when it's a life and death situation, is that correct?
Only if there's no other plan.
Hey Billy, tell them what a PH is.
A PH is what's called a professional hunter. They're certified. They have a very extensive training program, and in America we'd call that a guide. But the PH, it's a whole nother level.
Well, yeah, well, it's just, you know, you need to go through courses and hunting experience and protect the client at the end of the day.
And at what range does a PH engage a charging lion or a charging Cape Buffalo?
It depends on the situation, but a lot of the cases you'll wait until, you know, 10 yards before the animal is on top of you.
10 yards before 2 tons of black death kicks your behind. And so when you're talking about action, reaction, and stopping versus, you know, killing, if it's at 10 yards and it takes 2 more steps, it's on you. So when they talk about stopping an animal using something like a 500 Jeffrey, they're talking about it takes at most 1 more step. They're talking about like instant lights out.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother dimension of what you need to be able to do it that reliably.
Now I want to get you guys to shoot each a shot and see if you can do it without crying, Billy.
So we're lock cocked and ready to cry. Yeah, that ain't no 12 gauge, people. Oh my God. That's a horse.
Use a bit of force.
Oh, there it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was already open. That's a relatively short throw on that bolt. Most of the time, it's up a lot further. But yeah, that's got some. That's got Africa recoil, people.
You want to go for the next one?
Hell yeah!
This is a 416 Rigby.
A Dakota Arms bolt action in 416 Rigby, and this is heavy. This must be a 12-pound gun.
Yeah, no, it's much heavier. That's to help with the recoil.
And these sights, these open sights don't have really a notch, so this is like shooting excess big dots. You lied to me! This does not have less recoil than the 375.
This one pushes, it doesn't.
Oh my God!
Pushes it a little bit.
Woo! Oh, I love that old That old K98.
Yeah.
That's the real classic old school Mauser action. And if you can see, look how fat that bore is. Look at that thing. And look how, and the diameter of this barrel, this is a beast. All right, so we flip over to fire. This is a work of art. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. 500 Jeffrey. I am without words, people.
That's hard to do.
Oh my God. We center punched them, but whoa!
It's a lot of fun to shoot.
Oh my God. No, it's not. I don't know if it's a lot of fun.
I love this gun.
Oh my God.
So into the magazine?
Into the magazine, push
Yep.
it all the way down. You feed from the magazine.
Yep.
Okay.
375. What did you shoot, Billy? That paper?
Yeah, I just shot center. Make a head. Go for a headshot.
Where'd it go?
I think you shot right over top.
Okay.
Tell them what you're shooting.
Headshot.
Oh, this is the 416.
Oh, yeah.
In the tee box, people.
This is the 500 Jeffries. What a beautiful gun. And I don't know if the camera can get it, but this has express sights on it. And XS Big Dots were based on African big game hunting sites. And so I always think it's funny when people say they're not accurate enough, because people shoot lions at 25 meters or 10 meters with them. I'm gonna get him some Big Dots for his 27. 500 Jeffries. Try another headshot.
Perfect hit.
That's a bad motherfucker up there.
This is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, that's fantastic. So here we are at the target after shooting those big rifles.
And we're doing tactical training with the crew, teaching them how to run their pistols. So these are all 40s. And you know, a 375 relative to a 40, I don't know where my 375 is. However, that's my 416, and that's my 500 Jeffries.
Now I shot over the target.
You can see you nicked it.
With the 375, shot over it, but then the 416 and then the 500. And I felt good about that 500 shot, like the clean sight picture, you know, like the trigger felt good, and like with the gun, boom, is in recoil, and I'm pushing it down as hard as I can, but it felt good when it released. So I knew I had a good hit on that one.
Yeah, I rode the recoil on that one, and I've never fired anything that had that much recoil.
So did you rode the recoil on all three? It looked like it.
Yeah. So, I was letting myself ride with it.
So when you go back and watch the video again, I didn't. I fought it. He didn't. So just go back and make your own decision on what you think would be right for you. But I just stood my ground every time, and he rode it every time. So that'll be a good comparison.
But nevertheless, we both center punched our targets with that 500 Jeffries. It's one of those things. Marksmanship fundamentals always apply. And these guns, I mean, they're on. And they have to be on, because they literally, they press the trigger when it's life and death.
And it's so weird for me, because XS sights the design is based on African big game hunting rifle sights. And so when I picked those rifles up, it felt so familiar to me to look down that thing. I'm like, right now I'm thinking, maybe I need those on my rifles at home. But fantastic. Anything else?
No, it's just what a treat to be able to shoot these beautiful old guns in these classic calibers. And if you know, we talk about the history of, like, you know, of 308 or 7.62 and what different units did with different kind of guns. Well, you think about what people went on these incredible hunting trips, and they were running these classic old calibers. There's a lot of history to it.
It's fantastic. Guys, I've been behind the camera for most everything, but Johan and the crew here have been so awesome. And these guns, the ammunition is very rare. It's very expensive. and we probably just shot 6 rounds. We probably just shot $300 worth of ammo. I don't know. I know it's very expensive. So thank you.
It's a great pleasure.
And if you are that whitetail hunter and you're always looking for the next thing, this is it. Like the next thing is right here at Chapunga. Is that say it correctly?
Chapunga Safaris.
Chapunga. I'm telling you, come out here, hang out with these guys, and I'm telling you, like, if you're a whitetail hunter and you're looking for the next challenge, it's not as expensive as you think to come out here and shoot some plains game, and it is awesome. And you guys know I'm not a hunter. This has been a fantastic experience.
And Johan, please tell everyone if they're going to come on a hunt.
Yeah.
What are the 2 rifles that they should sort of start with?
Well, if they want to shoot a lot of plains game, you know, you bring a smaller caliber like for long distance shooting. You know, this terrain we've got here, you're going to have a lot of long distance shooting. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
I've got some people calling me.
The
farming doesn't stop.
No.
so you know, you're going to have a long distance shooting. So something like a 300. You know, a lot of clients nowadays come with a 6.5.
6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah, that's more for the smaller game. And then if you want to shoot something a little bit bigger like eland, those things, you're going to bring a 3.75 or something like that.
And Billy shot some plains game with his 243. So yeah. It's about marksmanship, you know, too. You know,
that's very important. You know, if you know your rifle and you do a precision shot, you can shoot a big animal with a small caliber rifle. Yeah.
But your favorite deer rifle and a 375, and you can take care of Africa.
Yes.
Very good.
That's all you need.